So let's now have a look at breaking the following emails down and really finding out how we know that they're formal or how we know that they are informal. So if we take the email on the left as our first example, it begins by addressing the person as dear sir or madame. Now when we're writing to someone for a specific purpose, if we want to come across in a formal way, we will often say dear sir or madame. Whereas if we want to come across in an informal way, we would just address them by saying hi. Like when I address you, when I give you your feedback on a Monday and a Wednesday, I say hi Iad, or hi Natalia, or hi Jakob. I don't say dear sir or dear madame, do I? Because I am just addressing you in an informal way. Then they go on to write, I am writing to inform you. Now that's really saying what the whole email is going to be about. Whereas if we're writing in an informal way, you might just say, oh, you know the lucky dip bag that I bought when we went into town yesterday? Well, you'll never believe what happened when I opened it. So you can really see the difference here. Even in my tone of voice when I'm saying it, it's a lot different. If we go back to the orange email, the formal email, it continues by saying, I was disappointed to find had been replaced with an inadequate copy. Whereas the informal letter, the email, says, I was so shocked and annoyed. I've emailed, that contraction there, I've, not I have. So it's very different here, the level of language. Still using the words shocked and annoyed does portray that emotion, but it portrays it in a completely different way that a formal letter does. Continuing down to the end of the email, I shall expect to be fully compensated for the distress and inconvenience. So this person who's writing this formal letter is expressing their emotion in a lot more of an expressive way and in quite an angry way than this person John is writing it in. We're saying, I hope they send me a new one ASAP. Not really too bothered. Was your pack okay? And then the way they end it by saying yours sincerely. Now, if you're writing a letter to someone who it's quite a formal person, you would always address it by maybe saying kind regards or yours sincerely. And then you might say your name as Miss F. James rather than her name was Florence, for example. Like John has addressed it by saying, see you later, John. You can really see the difference of the two. And that's what we're really going to work on today. Now, we are going to now work on how to turn formal language into informal language. We really want to embed that informal vocabulary into our minds in preparation for us writing a diary entry. So I have got 4 sentences here and they are all written in a formal style. We are going to work together to change them into an informal style of writing, and then you are going to do the same with 4 different sentences. So, my first sentence is, I am writing to complain about the unsatisfactory service that I received in your shop yesterday afternoon. So if we think of what this sentence is really saying, what it's stating, well, it's stating that they've completed unsatisfactory service. So that's a formal word. If we wanted to change that into an informal word, what could an informal word for unsatisfactory be? It could be rubbish, it could be poor, it could be disgusting. That's quite an informal level of language. Something that you probably wouldn't say to the Queen or to Mr. Day, for example. I am writing to complain. Oh, we wouldn't say that in an informal sentence. What we would say is I'm, contraction, I am to I'm, writing to moan. We're not complaining, we're moaning about the rubbish service I got in your shop yesterday. So you can see that difference from I am writing to complain to I am writing to moan. There's a difference in the language here. Number 2 then, it's vitally important that all children walk on the left-hand side of the corridor. It is vitally important. Vitally? What does that word vitally mean? What's a synonym for the word vitally? If something is vitally important, what does that mean? Maybe really important, especially important. That all children, now we could say kids or we could stay with children. walk on the left-hand side of the corridor. So if I wanted to change that from formal to informal, I might just change those two words. But rather than saying it is, contract that and say it's instead, because that's our informal language. So instead of it's vitally important, I've changed it to it's really important that kids walk on the left-hand side of the corridor. So I haven't changed much of the sentence, I'm just picking out certain words. Can you have a think about how I might change number 3 into an informal language? Which words would you change? Okay, so I guarantee that your journey will be an enjoyable experience. That's very formal. Let's pick out some of these words then. Would I change I? Not really. That pronoun, that first person pronoun, we need that in our diary entry. I guarantee. What's a synonym for the word guarantee? Maybe think. I think that your journey, maybe not change that word, maybe, will be an enjoyable experience. Maybe we could change that to you will have a great time on your journey. That could be something we could change it to an informal style. Let's have a look what I changed it to. I'm sure your journey is gonna be brilliant. Now, this word gonna, we don't want to use that in our writing. We still would like to say going to, don't we? So we would say, I'm sure your journey is going to be brilliant. And finally, you are not permitted to enter the staff room. So I can see here, I've got these words, you are. What can they be contracted to form? You're, fantastic. So you're not permitted. Permitted, that's a very formal word. Permitted, what does that mean? The same as. Oh, if you're not permitted to do something, you're not allowed. So you're not allowed to enter the staff room. Enter, enter means the same as go into. So we could change that to you're not allowed to go into the staff room. So can you see I picked out specific words there? Okay, your final plenary today is to work out whether these sentences are formal or informal. Pause the video now and have a think. Okay, how did you do? The first one, the grubs were gross, I can't believe I ate them. Wow, that is definitely informal. Number 2, I regret to inform you that the swimming pool is now closed. That is formal. Number 3, the managing director requests that everyone arrive for the meeting at 9 a.m. prompt. That's right, it's formal. I wonder when we'll come home. That is informal. And finally, we were just hanging out in the den. Informal. Can you notice that all my informal language has been related to my that I can potentially write in my diary entry because it's all about the explorer. So your task for today, it looks like quite a lot, but by now you should have actually done 2 of them already. So if you haven't done the first 2 tasks where you identify which of the features are formal or informal, and you haven't identified you've matched up the vocabulary to informal vocabulary, those will be your first 2 tasks. Task number 3, these are 3 formal sentences. Can you change them and write them in a more informal style? Remembering that the point of the sentence must stay the same. They must be writing about the same thing, but you might want to change specific words. It was incredibly petrifying experience to watch Max fall into the river. Would you say that in your diary? That's what I want you to be thinking of when you are writing the sentences. What would I write in my diary? Because all of these are sentences that you could write in your diary. And task number 4 is imagining you are writing a letter to your friend, telling them about something you've recently done that has made you happy. So you might have maybe made a snowman, that might have made you happy. You might have gone for a walk with your family, that might have made you happy. So you might want to write dear. So for example, maybe if Romea is writing a letter to Jasmine, she might write dear Jasmine. Okay? No, not dear. Am I right or am I wrong? Dear. Oh, you caught me out there. Miss Newman made a mistake. The dear would be formal, wouldn't it? Hi, Jasmine would be more of an informal language. I'm glad I have you to correct me, Year 4. And then you would start to write about what's made you happy. Now, please don't feel you have to use all the lines. You can use maybe 4 or 5 of them, but please don't use any more of them because I don't want you to have too much work to do today. All right, so those are your tasks for today. Any questions, please just send me an email and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Have a lovely rest of your day. Remember, focus on that presentation. Don't forget that you still need to have your capital letters and full stops in the correct places. Let's not let that slip, Year 4. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye, Year 4.